If you're 60 or older and you have a flight coming up this summer, the rules at the airport have changed in ways that are going to catch a significant number of seniors completely off guard. And the consequences of not knowing range from missing a flight you already paid for being pulled out of security line, to discovering at the gate that the ID you have been traveling with for years is no longer accepted as valid federal identification. The TSA, the FAA, and individual airport authorities have implemented a series of new protocols in June 2026 that affect older travelers specifically, and not in small ways. We are talking about new ID requirements that went into full enforcement this month, new screening procedures that apply differently depending on your age and your mobility status, new rules around medications and medical devices that have changed what you can carry, how you carry it, and what documentation you now need to have with you at the checkpoint. And on top of all of that, there are new airline-specific policies around assistance requests, boarding procedures, and passenger rights that most seniors are discovering for the first time at the gate, which is exactly the worst moment to find out. Today, I'm going to walk you through every one of these changes, what they mean for you specifically, and what you need to do before you get to the airport so that your travel experience in June 2026 and beyond goes the way it is supposed to go instead of the way it goes for the seniors who showed up without knowing any of this. Before we get into it, subscribe right now and turn on the bell. If you're planning to travel this summer or have family members who are, this channel is where you find out about these kinds of changes before they affect you at the checkpoint rather than after. Rule changes in airport security and airline policy happen with very little public announcement. The TSA updates its guidelines and post them in a PDF that nobody reads. Airlines update their conditions of carriage and bury the changes in a terms update email. What I do here is track those changes, translate them into plain language, and get them to you in time to actually prepare. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and let's get into exactly what has changed and what you need to know before your next flight. The first and most urgent change affects every single traveler in the United States regardless of age. But it is hitting seniors hardest because seniors are the group most likely to still be carrying the form of identification that is no longer accepted. Real ID enforcement reached full implementation in May 2025, and as of June 2026, TSA agents at every domestic airport security checkpoint in the country are required to turn away travelers whose ID does not meet the Real ID standard. A standard driver's license from a state that has not upgraded its issuance process, an older license that was issued before your state adopted Real ID compliant cards, or a license that simply does not have the star marking in the upper right corner that indicates Real ID compliance. None of these will get you through a domestic security checkpoint anymore. This is not a warning. It is not a soft rollout. It is full enforcement. And the seniors who are finding this out at the security line on the morning of their flight are the ones that did not check in advance. Look at your driver's license right now. If it does not have a gold or black star in the upper right corner, it is not Real ID compliant, and you cannot use it to board a domestic flight. Your alternatives are a valid U.S. passport, a passport card, a military ID, or a tribal identification card. If you do not have any of those and your license is not Real ID compliant, you need to visit your state DMV before your next flight and get a compliant license issued. Bring your birth certificate or passport, your social security card, and 2 documents proving your current address. The process takes 1 visit and the updated license is mailed to you within 2 to 4 weeks in most states. Do not wait until the week before your flight to do this. The second change involves the TSA screening process itself, and this one is specifically relevant to travelers 60 and older. TSA has updated its screening protocols for older travelers in ways that most people do not know about because the changes were implemented quietly through internal procedure updates rather than public announcements. The TSA PreCheck program has expanded its expedited screening benefits in 2026. And for travelers 75 and older, there are additional provisions that allow for modified screening procedures at equipped checkpoints. But here is what most seniors do not know. PreCheck enrollment requires an in-person appointment, a background check, and a fee, and enrollment must be renewed every 5 years. If you enrolled in TSA PreCheck 5 or more years ago and have not renewed, Your known traveler number may have expired, and you will not see the pre-check designation on your boarding pass, even if you entered your KTN when booking. This means you will end up in the standard security line, expecting expedited screening that you are no longer authorized to receive. Check your TSA pre-check expiration date right now at tsa.gov. If it has expired or is expiring within 90 days, renew it before your trip. The renewal process is faster than the original enrollment in most cases and can be completed online. If you have never enrolled and you travel more than twice a year, the $85 5-year enrollment fee pays for itself the first time you walk past a standard security line that stretches to the terminal entrance. The third change involves medications and medical devices, and this is where seniors who are managing health conditions are running into the most serious problems at checkpoints in June 2026. TSA updated its medical item screening procedures this year in response to new security concerns, and the changes affect how prescription medications, medical devices, and mobility aids are screened and what documentation travelers are now expected to carry. Liquid medications in quantities exceeding 3.4 ounces are permitted through security checkpoints, but they must now be declared separately at the beginning of the screening process before you place your items on the belt. If you do not declare them proactively, the agent has the authority to pull every liquid medication out of your bag for individual inspection, which significantly slows your screening and in a time-sensitive situation can cause you to miss your flight. Declare your medications first. Tell the agent before you begin loading the belt. This single step eliminates most of the friction seniors experience at the medication screening stage. For insulin, nitroglycerin, and other temperature-sensitive or critical medications, the same declaration rule applies, and TSA agents are required to handle these items with care and are not permitted to put them through the X-ray machine if you request an alternative screening method. Know that you have that right and ask for it. For medical devices, including CPAP machines, nebulizers, and portable oxygen concentrators, these items must be removed from their bags and placed in a separate bin for X-ray screening. A CPAP machine that stays packed in its case will cause a bag pull, a secondary screening, and a delay. Remove it before you reach the belt. The fourth area of change involves the rules around airline wheelchair and mobility assistance. And what has changed in 2026 is both the process for requesting it and the rights seniors have when that assistance is not provided properly. Under updated DOT regulations that took effect earlier this year, airlines are now required to provide aisle chairs, jetway assistance, and gate-to-gate escort services to any passenger who requests them regardless of whether the request was made in advance. The previous standard encouraged advance notice, but allowed airlines to use lack of advance notice as a reason for delayed or inadequate assistance. That standard has been tightened. If you need mobility assistance at any point during your airport experience, getting to the gate, boarding, deplaning, making a connection, you are entitled to request it at any point, and the airline is obligated to provide it in a timely manner. What most seniors do not know is what timely means under the new standard. Airlines are now required to have a wheelchair and an attendant available within 30 minutes of a request at any major airport. If you wait longer than 30 minutes after a confirmed request and miss a connection or are forced to rush in a way that causes injury or distress, you have the basis for a formal complaint and, in some cases, compensation. Document the time of your request, the name of the agent you spoke with, and the time assistance actually arrived. Keep that record. File a complaint with the DOT at transportation.gov if the standard is not met. The fifth change is one that affects every senior traveling with a companion or traveling alone for the first time after a health change, and it involves what airlines are and are not permitted to do when they have concerns about a passenger's ability to travel safely. Under updated FAA passenger fitness guidelines, airline gate agents have broader authority in 2026 to request documentation or ask questions of passengers who appear to need medical assistance. This is being applied inconsistently across carriers and is causing distress for seniors who are perfectly capable of traveling, but who use mobility aids, oxygen, or other visible medical equipment. Know your rights. An airline cannot deny boarding to a passenger based solely on disability or age. They can request a medical certificate only in specific circumstances defined by FAA regulation. If you're traveling with a CPAP, a portable oxygen concentrator, a cane, a walker, or a wheelchair, carry a brief letter from your physician stating that you're medically cleared for air travel. One page, your doctor's letterhead, the date, and your name. This document takes your physician 5 minutes to produce, and it eliminates every gate agent conversation before it starts. Here is exactly what you need to do before your next flight. Check your driver's license for the Real ID Star and visit the DMV immediately if it is not there. Check your TSA pre-check expiration date at tsa.gov and renew it if it has lapsed or is close to expiring. Declare all liquid medications and remove medical devices before you reach the belt at security. Know that you are entitled to mobility assistance within 30 minutes of any request and document everything if that standard is not met. And carry a physician's clearance letter if you travel with any visible medical equipment. The airports are different in June 2026 than they were the last time many seniors flew. The seniors who know that walk through without a problem. The ones who don't find out at the worst possible moment. Subscribe, share this with every senior you know who has a trip coming up, and I will see you in the next one.